What are you doing? Hey, mate, over here. Yeah, that's it. Warmer. Warmer. The name's Sammy. Nice to meet you.
Willing suspension of disbelief. I once wrote a radio commercial with a singing goldfish, so I'm totally willing to buy your premise. And that premise is carried in a beautifully shot film. The shots at the beach were gorgeous. I love the view from their condo. And I like the jiggly letters in your closing credits. This film was really a treat for the eyes.
The opening scene was pretty hilarious. A sniveling man holding flowers, snot running down his face, he's crying. And he meets a friendly anthropomorphic salmon, which offers him an opportunity to get out of his current situation. It's bittersweet at the end. He's obviously a bit conflicted, but it's very entertaining. I like this one a lot.
It's bold and creative and oddly informative. It was a very clever premise, obviously, and I was most impressed by the fact that you made it work for 6 minutes. It never felt like it was getting old or over, or no pun intended, overdone. It was one of those cinematic adventures I can see that really it didn't depend on the puppeteering of the fish being that good, but it definitely worked very well in a way that Yoda worked for Dagobah. It was just that because I believed in that fish was talking, it became a very absurdist thought, as absurdist as the idea of having somebody else break up for you. So, very timely absurdist comedy, and I was very appreciative to see it.
So funny. This was incredibly tongue-in-cheek. It was a great story, unique. Whoever came up with this, kudos to you. Not an easy storyline to come up with, or anything that's based on too much else that's already out there. And it was a very funny, semi-coming out sort of story, which we don't always see. And it helps to humanize people as well. Very well
This was so delightfully playful. I had no idea where we were going. But as soon as I realized it was a talking fish, I was like, okay, this is the territory that we're in. And they maintained that really nicely throughout the piece. But you still cared about the main character, and you really did want him to find happiness at the end.
Quirky, entertaining, absurd little comedy. I think it's very tricky at times to find or establish the right tone for a film like this. They can quite often go off the rails. But I thought the film established its absurdist tone quite early and consistently throughout the whole film. So that was certainly a big bonus. I loved the puppeteering or the special effects that were created for Sammy the fish. I thought they worked really well. I was disappointed when Sammy disappeared from the scene because he was quite an interesting character, and kudos for the vocal character work on Sammy.
This one is definitely creative. I thought it was funny when Sammy said he used to be called Samantha. Sexuality is fluid, and there are plenty of fish in the sea. The actors in this short are really believable, despite the fact that they're talking to a fish. And the cinematography is pulled off beautifully.
It's so short and it's so fun and it's so obscure. In this particular movie, it manifested itself in a salmon, and like a sassy salmon at that, which I absolutely loved. I thought it was hilarious. And when she asks him to leave, he takes the salmon with, like, he just picks up the salmon and leaves. Absolutely, like, I was laughing so hard.
It was funny. I was like laughing at the salmon's commentary throughout the film. Like he was like, oh yeah, he wants to break up with you because you smell, can't stand your parents, and he's like, wait. And then it was a funny, cool little short film. I liked it.
It was very funny. And first of all, I really liked the creative idea of the, talking salmon, not even a fish, and just the fact that he started to talk in front of his girlfriend and made him tell the girlfriend the truth. It was beautifully scripted. I love that.
I really enjoyed this one. Just a good time dealing with something that's a very serious and I don't know how common issue, but I'm sure it happens. dealing with it in a very lighthearted yet semi-dark kind of way. I thought was just really brilliant, well written. The direction was great. The acting was great. I actually loved it all around.
I thought this was very funny and cruel, but I liked how they used a very regular character like a fish, and but the fish was wise, and he had the strength to provide some strength and support to this other character that was very afraid of coming out.
A good mix of funny with seriousness. I like the symbolism that that he no longer needed the fish once he began to speak his truth. I thought that was extremely well done. It was a short film, so that was good. It was really to the point, and I think you guys did a really good job with it. So I look forward to seeing you guys doing more work in the future.
Salmons are animals that go against the current, so they are pretty much appropriate for this short film, and I really like that. It was really funny.
It seems like probably the most ridiculous film I've ever seen, but by God, I enjoyed it, and I would love to. I just want to send this to my friends because this was hilarious, and the actor did an amazing job talking to a fish and having an entire film with a fish or with a salmon.